This one is catching small fish in the sea, but you'll never guess what she's up to, okay? She crushed the little fish in a bucket and dumped it into the sea. Soon, the smell of blood attracted a shark, but this was not what Alice expected. She adjusted her breathing, suddenly lunged at the shark.
Oh shit! Yes! Yes! Yes!
You think she's gonna eat a shark? Don't. You're wrong. Alice hung it up with twine. She peeped under the leaves, only to fall asleep, and when it gets light, the shark mysteriously disappeared. Alice thought of a last resort. She hung her dead friends on the tree, hide in a pit at night and keep watching. The result is still to come. A few days ago, Alice was beside the sea was rushed to a desert island. Her best friend was not so lucky. A coral stick gave him the fatal blow. Alice cried out for help, but no one responded. Seeing a friend stop breathing, she had no choice but to pull the coral. Alice hurried to find water for him. Fortunately, a coconut was found. She hit it hard with a stone. Bite hard with your teeth. Finally opened the coconut. But back to friends. He's gone to see God. Alice tried to out of the island. Results around a circle back to the place. She looked everywhere for something to use. Found a couple of century-old bottles in an old camp, and a box of matchsticks. There is nothing else of value. It rained heavily in the evening. Alice had to curl up in a corner for the night. Wake up in the morning. Large fish and a wounded shark wash up on the shore. Obviously, the shark suffered a biological attack. Alice couldn't care less. She fed her hunger by cutting fish with stones. Then he pushed his friend into the sand pit. Let him rest in peace. But the next day, Alice was frightened by what she saw. Are there really terrible creatures here? Alice quickly made a weapon to protect herself. Some objects were floating over the sea. It turned out to be a suitcase and a bucket. She dived into the water to see there are no other things. Soon Alice found a strange black hole. Frightened, she swam back to the shore. Night. Alice changed out of her suitcase. Just then a plane came from the sky. She quickly took out her flare and fired it. But the plane was already far away. The flare flashed across the sea. A strange creature emerged from the water. A huge figure appeared on the sea. Alice was so frightened that she turned and ran. She took the stick and hid in the grass. What the hell is this monster? The next night, Alice hid in a hollow tree. She hoped the monster wouldn't find her. The monster came anyway. Alice hid in a hole in the tree, afraid to make a sound. And when it gets light, the outside of the tree hole has been chewed up. Alice found some make a canvas hammock hangs in the air. It won't be found out. Evening. The monster appears again. Alice shrank into a ball of fear, but the monster found her anyway. The monster knocked her out of her hammock. Alice ran for her life. The monster sped through the water and jumped right in front of her. Alice took her spear and stabbed it, but she was thrown by the monster. Just as the monster attacked again, a flash of lightning flashed across the sky. The monster suddenly disappeared. Alice had to spend the night in a tree in the rainstorm. Day. A lifeboat floated from the sea. Alice swam quickly across. It turned out to be Alice's boyfriend Jack and their friend Lisa. Alice served them a collection of old wine and grilled fish. She told Jack to eat and leave as soon as possible, or the monsters will attack. But Jack didn't believe it. They insisted that stay on the island and wait for help. Soon, Alice noticed something strange about them. They are very intimate. It's always nice to talk behind her back. Wait until Alice gets close. They suddenly became flustered. Alice realized that her boyfriend had betrayed her. So Alice prepared some supplies. Take the time to talk. She planned to leave alone in a lifeboat, but she was found before she even got here. Jack held Alice for dear life. As she struggled, Lisa knocked her unconscious with a slap. Wake up again. She's already tied to a tree. Alice explains the evening monster will appear. They'll all be torn apart, but Jack was still unconvinced. On the other side, Lisa was walking along the shore when she found a broken fish head. Just when she was wondering, danger has crept in. There was a sudden scream in the distance. Jack quickly took the fire and went over to check, but was an unknown monster slapped fly. The monster jumped and swam into the sea. By this time Lisa was not breathing. Jack got up and tried to save her, but it was too late. Lisa was dragged into the sea by the monster. Jack was terrified. He stood in the tree afraid to come down. Alice says monsters don't show up during the day. Jack let his guard down. He began to organize his supplies voluntarily. He didn't want to stay on the island for a moment. Alice caught some small green fish, baked them and cooked them into delicious food, and pushed the lifeboat to get out of here. But it didn't get very far. A huge figure appeared out of the sea. Suddenly the monster's claws reached out. The two quickly ducked into a lifeboat, and then pull on the zipper. The monster starts to attack at the bottom. Then he stuck his head inside. inside the boat. Jack quickly fired the flare gun, drove the monster away for a while, before they could recover. Alice was suddenly pulled under. The monster pulled Alice to the bottom of the sea, but she didn't give up. Alice took a knife and stabbed the monster hard. The monster was badly wounded. It turned and swam back to the depths of the sea. Just then Jack jumped into the sea. What is he going to do? Seeing Jack, the monster turned and swam towards him. Jack was easily overpowered by the monster before he could resist, quickly leading him into the mysterious black hole. Alice wanted to go to the rescue, but she had to change her tone. She rose quickly to the surface of the sea. When Alice got back to shore, she was the only one left on the island. Her eyes grew firm. Since there is no escape, well, then it's a monster fight. First Alice prepared the tinder, then a spear is made from the trunk, then a large pile of firewood was collected. When the night comes, the monster came to the island as promised. She led the monster into the Rifu circle. Then the fire was lit. The monster was afraid of fire. Alice took spear stab to the monster. Then he ran away quickly. When she was about to strike again, Alice was slapped away by the monster. The monster seized Alice. Time of crisis. Alice stabbed the monster with her stick. The monster threw her out in pain. Alice got up and ran off into the distance. She wants to use up the monster's energy. Sure enough, when the monster caught up with her, he collapsed from his injuries. Although the monster has been solved, but how would she escape the island? Do you have any good ways to help her? Leave your thoughts in the comments section.